All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, everybody? We're back. Hope everybody out there had a good weekend. PGA, MMA streets, MLB streets, preseason, tennis, whatever streets you guys were playing. Hopefully, was it a profitable one? 12 games today, Nades. That's more than usual. I feel like the last couple weeks been 8 games on Monday, something like that. 12 games, Coors Field, the Braves in Coors Field, 7.5 team total. It's an interesting slate for sure. Excited to get your thoughts. Good to see familiar faces in chat. Throw it to you first on Nate. What's going on this Monday afternoon?
Yeah, no, good to be back with you, Title. Been a little bit. Always a struggle getting dealing with some stuff over the weekend, but weather's been great here. Had a softball tournament for a good buddy of ours who passed away. So we put together a memorial tournament for him. Ran that up, so that was fun to share some laughs and good memory of a good buddy. And everything like that. But no, 12-game slate, a little bigger than normal. We've had these 6 to 8 game slates on these Mondays. And, man, it's not just the Braves in Coors Field. It's the Braves against a lefty in Coors Field here, in a bad one at that. So definitely going to be interesting. Got the gear today. Gear showed up. Hoop and Tambo got the job done. Got the gear out for us. Obviously, we've got some gear coming for some of the members in the Discord as well. Just some things coming there. I know there was a lot of interest in that. So definitely good things coming here, and right around the corner for Mr. NFL season there. Kicks off in about a week and a half with the Kansas City and Lions game on Thursday the 7th. So looking forward to that. Ready to break it down. Should be an interesting slate.
Oh, yeah. Football can't come soon enough. And like you mentioned, SHIPIT Nation gear. Nate's got the hat, got the shirt. Members, that is available for you as well. Check in Discord. Tambo put in the announcements. Hoop was our model, showed off all that we are offering: black shirt, white shirt, hats. Check your email as well, but that is up on the site, so check that out. Also, as Nate's talked about, a little best ball, NFL coming up soon. Shout out our partner at drafters.com. Looks like it's 55,000 or something right now out of 115,000 in the $20 contest. Would be shocked if there wasn't overlay. So there's no better time to head over to drafters.com, make an account, use that promo code SHIPIT. They'll match $20 to $100. And of course, if you want to join us for the NFL season at shipitnation.com, very excited about it. Everything will be rolling out. This price, Blast Off Bundle 321, $321, takes you through the next 6 months, which takes you through Super Bowl Sunday. NBA will be going on. NHL will be going on. MLB still got over a month left. Best ball right now, MMA, golf. Can't beat this deal. Cannot wait for the NFL season. Head over, join us, get in the Discord. A lot of premium content. We'll be doing free shows as well. A lot of days, quick hit videos, stuff like that. So be on the lookout for NFL content. Cannot wait for that. We'll have another a launch too, talking about a couple more things that we are adding for the NFL season. Who do we got in the YouTube chat before we go? Pitchers and game by game, like always. Creative Thinking, Bill B, Mike Carr, Nadesify, Hebrew Cheetah, Sean Sullivan, Jason, what's going on? Swaggy P, Toga, Gator Nation, already said your name. Jetty, Reezer's in here. Hamwich, our guy, was at the FanDuel Live Final representing us. Richie Smalls, King of Smack, Paraby, Carmi. What is going on, everybody? Like button, subscribe button, helps us out a ton. Trevor Brian Durkee, what is up, everybody? All right, Nate, let's talk some baseball today. 12 games. Weather, we look to be good. I'd be surprised if anything got postponed. Roth has the worst thing as yellow in Coors Field. I'm not going to be looking at pitchers there. So let's talk like everything plays normal. We'll go to pitching. Let's go 8K and above, 8K and above, Nades, because a lot of these guys I think you can cross off. Like, I'm not playing Bryce Elder in Coors Field. Christian Javier against Boston, no thank you. John Gray, I guess, at 8.1K, but go to the top. Kevin Gossman, chalkiest on the slate, highest price on the slates, gets a Nats team, 6.5K prop. Blake Snell, the highest K prop on the slate at 10.8K. Decent hitting weather in St. Louis, though. Extreme pitchers ump behind the dish, which you do love to see. Gossman has a pitcher's ump behind the dish as well. No thank you to Gallen against the Dodgers lineup. Andrew Abbott against San Fran. I think I'd rather just get up to Gausman or Snell or pay down elsewhere. Sale's interesting, I think, through 80 pitches last time. Same Astros team, so excited to hear your thoughts there. Kenta Maeda grades out pretty well for me. Bobby Miller, I like Maeda more, but I think Miller's fine. No Javier, no Elder, not too much interest in Gray. So that's how I see pitching. AK and above, break it down for us, Nate.
Yeah, so I got about 3, maybe 4 guys I got in this range. One guy I do have interest in. Sounds like I got a little bit more interest in John Gray than you do. 8,100. I think the matchup is fine against these Mets. He ranks pretty good in our rankings over here. 8,100. Not seeing a ton of ownership. I'm really only seeing ownership up in this range. Maeda is going to get a little bit. Blake Snell is going to get a bit, and then Kevin Gausman is going to be probably 30 to 40% owned, somewhere in that range. I like the Gausman and Blake Snell thing. I like going to Blake Snell. You save a little bit of money there, get a fraction of the ownership, and the weather in St. Louis really isn't that great. I mean, yeah, it's in the 80s, but the wind is blowing in. It's more pitcher-friendly ballpark. Pitchers up behind the dish does kind of set me over a little bit. And Kevin Gausman faces a Nationals team that just does not strike out. So I get it, right? It's St. Louis. St. Louis against a lefty, but man, this St. Louis team has not been the same St. Louis team of years past against left-handed pitching, one of the worst in the division. So I do love Blake Snell. Blake Snell is my SP1 on the slate here, so I love him at the top. I do like John Gray with the matchup. Again, he ranks pretty good. 14th best strikeout matchup for these opposing Mets, which is kind of middle of the slate out of the 24 teams. So he not the greatest or not the worst matchup there. 8,100, I think, is a fine price point for him. I do have interest in Kevin Gausman. If you can afford him, which obviously you can afford one of Blake Snell or Kevin Gausman, unless you're 5-man stacking those Braves, which we'll touch on because the Braves are expensive, obviously, in Coors Field, all the kind of stuff we'll hit on when we go game by game. Kevin Gausman will check in number 3 for me. He does have a good matchup here. Best strikeout rate of all pitchers on the slate here. And the 13th best strikeout matchup. So Nationals actually do strike out a little bit more against right-handed pitching here. But I still prefer Blake Snell to Kevin Gausman, but you have to keep Kevin Gausman in the conversation here. And then the other 2 guys that are interesting, the one guy that's interesting is Bobby Miller. The reason I say that is because he ranks really good in our rankings over here, but he is 8,800. But that is the late night hammer game there. Should have some run support behind him. 8,800, I think, is a fine price point. He's got the 13th best strikeout rate of all pitchers on the slate. So he does have some strikeout upside. And I'm seeing, nobody's really going to play him. He's going to be unowned. So I don't hate that. The Kent Maeda thing, I would have much rather just save a little bit of money and go to Bobby Miller in that matchup against Arizona because Cleveland also doesn't strike out. Kent Maeda, he's been up and down. So for me, really, there's 4 guys in this range. It's Blake Snell, number 1 for me. Salary, ownership, everything considered, I'll go John Gray, number 2. Kevin Gausman, 3. And then my 4th guy would be Bobby Miller up here. Really no interest in any of these other guys.
Yeah, no, good breakdown. There is a lot of viable pitchers below AK we'll talk about too. So it's not crazy if you don't play anyone up here. A lot of builds will play at least one guy up here, maybe pair a guy in the mid-tier or something like that. But Gausman's number 1 for me. For number 2, I'd probably say Chris Sale for the upside. I think he's going to be sub 10%. And Chris Sale, we 5.5K props, some juice on the over. He always has big time upside. If he's going to be very low owned, he allows you to eat chalk bats, a chalk SP2, something like that. So I like Sale, the idea of him. I do like your call on Bobby Miller. When I checked our pitcher rankings over here, seeing him grade out really well, everyone would go, or not everyone, but a lot of people will go Maeda and find the 400 right there. Miller will probably come in at 30 the ownership. So I don't mind that. Blake Snell would be my 3rd in this range, though. It'd be Gausman, Sale, Snell, but I do like Gausman a good bit more. And I don't really see myself going Gausman, Snell on a slate like this. So, yeah, I'll slightly lean with Gausman, Chris Sale, Blake Snell, my top 3 in the upper tier. Let's talk 8K and below. And again, there are multiple options down here. The 3 guys that will be the most popular, Brian Wu, 7.9K, gets the coveted Oakland matchup, 6.5K prop, some juice on the under, but still 7.9K against Oakland. He'll get some ownership. Grayson Rodriguez definitely will get some ownership. I think he and Gausman will be the popular pairing. Wouldn't be surprised to see Grayson Rodriguez higher owned than Gausman as well. 7.5K, great match against the White Sox, 6.5K prop. Everything sets up well for him. Been pitching pretty well there. So on a slate where we want Acuna over 7K, like there's bats you want to spend for that are expensive. People will be trying to save some. The third guy I'll mention down here, Kyle Harrison, this lefty, get against Cincy. He's 6.5K, gets you 15, gets you 16, something like that. You'll take it on a slate like this. So touch on those three and anything else that you like Oviedo, Gray, Tyon, Miley. There are some names down here, but those three stood out to me the most.
Yeah, so Grayson Rodriguez, that's chalk I'm willing to eat here against this White Sox team. I mean, he's got an incredible strikeout stuff. He's just 7,500. I love the Baltimore Bats today against Kopech as well, so should have run support behind him. So that's chalk I'm willing to eat. That's kind of why I want the Snell route up at the top over Gosman, because I don't want to eat two chalk pitchers. Typically, I do not like doing that. But a lot of builds here are going to grab two of these cheap guys. And it's going to be Brian Wu, it's going to be Grayson Rodriguez, and then it's going to be the Harrison guy out there facing Cincinnati because he had a 31.3% strikeout rate on the season. Obviously, very limited sample size there, but he's just 6,500 with a very, very expensive offense, the best offense in baseball in Coors Field against a lefty who they hit better. So people need to save salary when they want to play these Braves. So they're going to play two of these guys. I think the chalk route is definitely Brian Wu, Grayson Rodriguez, and Harrison, two of those three, and then stack up the Braves. I think that's the chalk route people are going. If they do spend at the top, they're going all the way up to Gosman. So pretty much anyone outside of those four pitchers, Wu, Rodriguez, Harrison, and Gosman. I mean, if you play anyone else outside of that, they're going to be low owned, and it really doesn't matter too much what you do with your lineup construction. Obviously, don't go in there and stack 1 through 5 in the Braves or something like that. But I do have interest in Grayson Rodriguez. That's chalk I'm willing to eat. I like him. Brian Wu, I think he's interesting. I mean, he's going to get ownership here. I would not play him and Rodriguez together. I really just would not do that because Rodriguez is probably going to be 40 to 50% owned. At least that's what I'm seeing projected. That's highest on the slate by far. Brian Wu's right there coming in second or third. So I really wouldn't like that, but he does have a good matchup, has a good strikeout rate. But this Oakland team actually has been better as of late. I mean, I know Hamwich and I talked about them yesterday. It was pretty hurtful to see that they didn't get the job done. At the end of the day, it is still overall bad offense, but they do have some guys in here that have struck out less. I mean, the 16th best strikeout rate on the slate for opposing pitchers. So that's kind of middle of the league, right? Right in the middle of the pack. And he's going to be 30 to 35% ownership. I'd rather just save a little bit and go to Grayson Rodriguez and just not worry about Brian Wu. So I think he's fine. I just prefer the other guys. I would prefer to go down to Kyle Harrison. I've just been picking on these Cincinnati bats all season long. I mean, I'll take the limited sample size and the strikeout stuff against a team who's been absolutely horrible over the last month at the plate. And you get a discount off of Wu, right? You get $1,400 savings that you can go up. And that can get you from a Kevin Pillar, who's going to be probably one of the chalkiest bats on the slate, to maybe a more expensive Brave, or maybe a more expensive I like the Orioles or the Rangers or the Dodgers, right? Any of these other expensive guys, you can upgrade a bat in that lineup. So really for me, it's Grayson Rodriguez down here. It's Kyle Harrison. Don't really want to mess with too many of the other guys. I just don't think you need to. Obviously you can. I mean, Oviedo gets the Kansas City matchup, right? He's getting pretty low ownership here, got an okay projection, but really, I mean, down here, I'm just looking at those two guys, Grayson Rodriguez, Kyle Harrison.
Yeah, good breakdown. Bill B says, is Oviedo going to be popular? No, I don't think so. I think he's a good pivot right there, though. Everyone will go Grayson Rodriguez, gets a decent matchup against KC, and he's had spike weeks. I mean, I got him wrong on one of those one performances. You look, though, 20, 1, 28, 22, 21, 3, 30. I mean, his ultimate boomer bust as it gets right here. Good matchup. I think Oviedo is interesting down here. I'd rather eat. I'm a little different than you. I think I'd rather eat the Gosman chalk than Rodriguez, but I'm not quite sure. Like, if they're both 45% owned, I'd say Rodriguez. But yeah, the more you talk about it, Rodriguez is probably going to be like 50, Gosman 32, something like that. The more you talk about this slate and talk through it, like the Sale, Maeda, Bobby Miller range, you like John Gray, so you could throw that range right there. They're all going to get overlooked. People are either going to go Gosman, Snell, or they're going to go all the way down for the Woos, the Rodriguez, the Harrisons of the world. It's a pretty good slate. I think Kyle Harrison's definitely interesting at 6.5K. Like, so I'll ask you right now before we rank pitching. because people in chat were like, are the Braves even going to be that chalk? You made it sound like you think yes. I don't think as much as what a 7.5 Braves team on the road in Coors Field is high zoned as what people expect, just because so many options that pitcher in the lower tier. The Padres have got Wainwright. There's other teams with high team totals. So what kind of ownership are you thinking that these are they going to be 40% owned? Are they going to be 30% owned in single entry stuff for the Braves?
I think some of the bats will, especially Kevin Pillar. I just saw that lineup come out. I haven't updated it yet on our sheet, but Kevin Pillar, especially if he's hitting in the 2 hole where he was projected to at 3,500, I think he will. I think Vaughn Grissom, if Vaughn Grissom's in there at 4,100, I think he will. But I have seen, so I've been tracking this all day, kind of watching this, right? And I have seen throughout the day the total stack ownership on the Braves has gone up like 3%. So the more we get to lock, I think it continues to climb, and it's because the more shows, the more content stuff gets released in the industry. And you look at these pitchers down here, we have cheap pitchers in good matchups, right? Brian Wu, 7,900, sub 8K against Oakland, good matchup. Grayson Rodriguez, incredible strikeout stuff against the pretty weak Chicago White Sox lineup. Great strikeout matchup. He's been good. 7,500. You can play him. And then you got the Kyle Harrison, 6,500, right? So you play 2 of those guys, you can 5-man stack those Braves, and you can. There's plenty of cheap mini stacks on this facing bad pitchers that you can add with them. So I do think right now their projected ownership is lower than what I expect it to come in at because it is also against the lefty. I mean, if you look at the numbers on these Braves against left-handed pitching on the road this year, they have an expected ISO of 280 as a team with a strikeout rate right around 20%. So they don't strike out and they hit for a ton of power. And now they're in Coors Field against Austin Gomber, who doesn't strike anyone out. So I do think it does climb, and that's why I think these pitchers down here even get more ownership, is because the more people start building teams, they're gonna want to play 2 of these guys, and that's probably gonna bring Gosman and those top end pitchers ownership down even from what it's projected. I think personally.
Yeah, Pilar's in the 8 hole. So I mean, the outside of Pilar, 3.5K, RC is 4.6. Everyone else is above 5K. It's definitely expensive lineup. So yeah, what you think the ownership is how you should approach the Braves. I'm going to get to it. I like the Braves. I think they probably come in under owned personally on this slate. I think there's enough pitching you can get different. Albies back in the lineup. Maybe he'll be sneaky after being out for a bit. Unfortunately, I think he'll be one of the most popular guys just because second base is not a good position. So switch hitter, I do not think he'll be overlooked, unfortunately. But let's wrap up pitching. I'm going to go Gosman 1. I'm on Sale 2. I'm going to go Kyle Harrison all the way down there for 3. I'll go Brian Wu 4. How do you see pitching?
Yeah, I'm going Blake Snell number 1 for me. I like Blake Snell. I like the matchup, ownership, all that considered. I like him. I'll throw Bobby Miller in there in my top 4 with the ownership and the matchup. Grayson Rodriguez, like I said, I'm eating that chalk. And then I'm going Kyle Harrison as well in my top 4.
Love it. Let's go game by game. 165 people watching, 36 likes. Can't lie. That is a little hurtful. We appreciate it. If you take 1 second out of your day, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Takes not or costs you guys nothing. Just helps us out. We give you shows every single day on this channel. And Hamwich talking, what's the weather in KC? It's about 80 degrees, Hamwich. Wind's not really a factor. So that's how I'm seeing it. First game of the night, Nades. We got here we go. Hold on. I'm going all the way back to the 6:40 Eastern. Chicago White Sox, Baltimore Orioles, Michael Kopech, Grayson Rodriguez, 80 degrees in Camden, 9 total. A lot of people talking about the Orioles. Think they are one of the more popular teams on the slate. They have some expensive pieces in their order, a lot of cheap pieces at the bottom. You definitely prefer lefties against Kopech. But, man, most of their like Gunnar, Santander, Adley, you definitely want them. But I like the Braves more. I like Boston more. And I think I like another team later in the Rangers more too. So pretty much on a 12-game slate, giving a sneak preview of how I'm thinking. But at the end of the day, the Orioles just don't make the top 3 cut on a slate this big. You can't play anyone. I don't like them as much as the field and their ownership. And I don't like the other side in the White Sox against Grayson Rodriguez. So no thank you to me.
Yeah, Orioles are, I think, one of my favorite stacks, top 2, top 3 stack of the day for sure. It's just a bet on Kopech. Looking at the last month's numbers, which I like a lot, especially this late in the season, right? Last 30 days. What kind of form is the pitcher in? What kind of form is this offense in? And it's bright red across the board. Kopech, 14% strikeout rate, including both sides of the plate. Expected ISO of 262. So getting hit with a ton of power. Fly balls north of 30%, and ground ball rate are sitting right there at the same 30%. So he's getting hit. The ball's getting hit in the air. He's not striking guys out, and he's getting hit for power. And that's what I like. I like to see that. I like to stack him. I don't think their ownership's going to be crazy. I mean, I'm seeing it sub 6%, 7% right now as a stack, which I think is plenty okay with me. I mean, they still have a 6 implied run total here, and it's Kopech. I mean, the dude gets barreled at a 14% clip. So I love these O's: Adley, Gunnar, Santander, Mountcastle. I like Ryan O'Hearn a lot, 3,300 at first base. Or outfield, you can play him at there. He might get some ownership, but I don't really care. Low strikeout guy, can hit for power in the middle of that lineup. I like Cedric Mullins, who probably is going to go a little bit overlooked even after hitting a bomb. He's 5K in the 6th spot. So I think he goes overlooked because that's an expensive six spot hitter there. Adam Frazier's been solid. He fills that second base position. So I actually like these O's quite a bit here. They're one of my favorite stacks of the day. I just don't think they get a ton of ownership, and it's just a bet on Kopech being Kopech. And he has not been good by any stretch of the imagination here. So fully out on the White Sox, but I love the O's here tonight.
Yeah, it's second highest team total on the slate. I get it for sure. I personally like some other spots more. Keep it rolling. 7.5 total. Washington Nationals, Toronto Blue Jays, Josiah Gray, Kevin Gossman on the mound. The Nats have a team total below 3. Sign me up for Gossman. And as far as the Blue Jays against Josiah Gray, this Blue Jays team, man, just feels like they always disappoint. They never get the job done. I probably like the O's more than Toronto as well. But again, there's other teams I like on this slate more. So get another X for me. What about you?
Yeah, this game's a cross off for me for bats. No interest in Nats. No interest on the Blue Jays side. So I'm staying away.
Keeping it rolling. Love that. 12-game slate. Got to be quick on some. Houston Astros, Boston Red Sox, Christian Javier, Chris Sale. Total of 10. Only 70 degrees in Boston. I like Astros 4.17 total. Boston 5.2. Both teams probably pretty low owned. I like the Boston side, though. Javier has not been good as of late. The K's down. The fly balls are up. Going to some of these Red Sox. Definitely prefer the lefties. Verdugo at the top of the order. Rafi Devers, of course, Yoshida. Don't mind mixing in some of these righties, too. Cassis, though, in the 6 hole. I like the Red Sox. I think they're going to be low owned. They're going to be pretty sneaky. Wish it was better hitting weather, but short porch and right. Give me some of these lefties. Red Sox, one of my favorite stacks on the slate. Javier just has not been good. I like Chris Sale, though. Don't think the Astros are the craziest thing on this slate, but I like Chris Sale, so I'll say no Astros.
Yeah, Astros. I don't love the Astros, but I also don't like Chris Sale just because the Astros, one of the worst strikeout matchups against lefties on the board. They just do not strike out against left-handed pitching on the road, and that's all of them. There's one guy in the lineup that strikes out at a 30+, and that's Maldonado. Everyone else is right around 20% or lower. So that's why I'm out on Chris Sale at the 9,500 price point. He does have a good strikeout arm, but he's going to need to be efficient, right? Because I still think he is on somewhat of a pitch count there as well. So I'm not out on the Astros. I just don't love them. Not the greatest weather. But yeah, these Red Sox, Javier has just been absolutely horrible. 40+% fly ball rate over the last month to both sides of the plate. He actually does get hit harder, at least over the last month from the righties. 353 ISO, fly balls of 55.5%. So up and down this lineup, lefties, righties, it doesn't matter. I like them all. The lefties definitely have a little bit of advantage in the short porch, right, in right field. So I like those guys, but don't sleep on these righties. Justin Turner, Adam Duvall, one of those is going to go deep today for sure. Fly ball pitcher in a short porch there in Fenway. Sign me up for some of these Red Sox, and I don't see them getting really any ownership on this slate, so I do like them.
I like it. They disagreeing more than usual. That's all right on this slate, but we do both like the Red Sox. What's going on, Bill Miner? Hope everything going well with you. And again, appreciate that like button. That subscribe button helps us out a ton over here at SHIPIT Nation. We'll keep it rolling, though. Next game on the slate, Texas Rangers, New York Mets, John Gray, Tyler McGill on the mound. 9 total, about 70, 75 degrees in New York. Texas is interesting. The thing is, the bats you want to pay for, like you want the lefties against McGill, Corey Seager, one of the top bats on the slate, but 6.7K. Everyone's going to go to the Braves guys ahead. Semien 6-1, Adolis 5-8. Like the big bats at the top are expensive. Going to keep their ownership really low, though, because everyone's going to go Braves instead. Rightfully so. They have a 2 runs higher team total. You can go to the bottom of the order, though. Some of these guys are cheap. I like the Rangers. I think they're really sneaky. They're interesting. Tyler McGill, not an arm I'm scared of. I remember us stacking against them like last time out, 2 times ago, something like that. Rangers, interesting. Guaranteed ninth inning at bats. I like. Wish it was a little better hitting weather. As far as the Mets, I think John Gray's fine. You like John Gray, so I think you're going to say no Mets. He grades out pretty well in our rankings, but talk about these Rangers for me.
Yeah, I do like the Rangers. I think Rangers are one of the pivots off the Braves. I mean, because they have expensive guys, right? Nobody's going to play Corey Seager and Marcus Semien over those Braves guys, right? In Albies and Arcia or whoever else on that lineup, right? Acuna 7K. So Corey Seager, one of the best plays on the entire slate, especially when you look at his ownership, his price point, everything, and he's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball over the last couple of weeks. So I love him. Marcus Semien, obviously you love the lefties here, and there's 6 lefties that are going to roll out here against McGill. Obviously a bunch of those are switch hitters. Robbie Grossman in there, Jonah Heim, Leody Taveras. The only righties in that lineup are Adolis Garcia, Zeke Duran, and Marcus Semien, who can hit anyone. So I love the Rangers. 1 through 9 are firmly in play for me. A top 3 stack on the board for me when you look at their ownership. And it's still, I say it all the time, right? They're a top 4 offense in baseball. They continue to score runs. How many times have we seen Texas break the slate? A lot more than a lot of these other teams on the slate. So I do like Texas with everything considered. So they're one of my favorite stacks. And the Mets, I like John Gray enough. He ranks well in our rankings. So I'm out on the Mets on a 12-game slate here.
I like it. Before we get to the next game, just a quick reminder, you want Nadesify's core, Hamwich's core, G-Rise and slate plan, hoop slate plan, cash reports, projections, ownership, proprietary tools for baseball. NBA will have projections, NFL projections, ownership, or MMA, PGA projections, ownership to go along with slate plan for all sports. Head over to ShipItNation.com. One low price, $53 a month. This comes out to $321 the next 6 months, takes you through NFL season. No better time to join. NFL right around the corner. A lot of money to be made. Prize pools absolutely massive out there. No better bang for your buck. Head over to ShipItNation.com. Get in the Discord. Let's keep it rolling, Nades. Plenty of games left to talk about still. Cleveland Guardians, Minnesota Twins, Xavier Curry, Kenta Maeda. 80 degrees in Minnesota, wind blowing out a little bit. Xavier Curry, rough night out last time against the Dodgers. I mean, game got postponed too, so we got saved. But rough. These Twins, though, I don't know what to do with them, man. If I say play them, they suck. I say they stink. They play them. Actually, Matt Wallner, let's see, is he even in the lineup? He's the one that he is in the 7th spot. That's all I'm going to say. Matt Wallner and fade the Twins. The last 2 times he's been the dong of the day. It was a grand slam, and I think the other one's a 3-run shot. Otherwise, the Twins sucked. That's how I'm scripting it up. Matt Wallner goes deep. The Twins stink. Nothing for me in this one. What about you? Hamwich likes the Twins, though.
I do like Hamwich. Let's go, baby. Lock arm in arm, Hamwich. Let's go. I'm on some of these Twins as well. Fly ball pitcher here. Wind blowing out 80 degrees in Minnesota. Nice and humid, too. I like some of these Twins. Julian, my boy, batting leadoff, 3,600. Julian's getting back on the home run trade tonight. I love him. Max Kepler, Polanco, Matt Wallner. I like some of these guys quite a bit. They're all cheap. They're not cheap, but they're reasonably priced for their power. But the same thing with the Twins is I always say it's pretty much home run or bust for these guys. But over the last month, the bats you want are Polanco, Kepler, Matt Wallner, Royce Lewis. Is he in there? Yeah, he's batting second. So I like Royce Lewis. He's been good over the last month too. And then obviously you can always throw in Joey Gallo if you want. But I really like those other guys. Polanco.
Gallo's not in.
Yeah, okay. Wallner, Royce Lewis, Polanco, Julian, Max Kepler. I like those guys. I think the Twins go a little overlooked here. It's a fly ball guy. I'm betting on Curry not being a good pitcher fly ball guy, wind blown out, good weather. So I do like the Twins a little bit here.
Another person in chat likes the Twins. I know the story. Been here too often. Everyone likes the Twins. How that goes. So yeah, I'll say no Twins. I'll say Wallner goes deep. Big Daddy Wallner, and the rest of the game busts. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Definitely no Guardians for me. Let's keep it rolling. St. Louis, 80 degrees. Padres, Cardinals, Blake Snell, Adam Wainwright, 19 total. The Padres, one of the top teams on the slate though. It's Adam Wainwright. I mean, every time you guys have been watching the show out there for a while now, any time Waino pitches, we say stack against him. -0.3, 7.3, -19, -3, 5, 9, -0.5. I mean, that's his last 8 games or whatever on DraftKings. He's got nothing left in the tank. Decent hitting weather. You said it was. I mean, wind's not really a factor. 80 degrees. I'll take it on this slate. I love the Padres. Like the Sotos, the Machados of the world. Probably a little lower owned because people want to pay for the Braves. Bottom of the order, some of these people like Garrett Cooper, he'll probably get some ownership. Gary Sanchez maybe, but I'll keep picking on Waino. Guaranteed ninth inning at bat. Love these Padres. No thank you to the Cardinals. What about you?
Yeah, I do like these Padres quite a bit, but I do think the Padres are the team that everyone kind of says the same thing, right? If I'm not playing the Braves, I'm going to go to the Padres, right? Because you got Soto, you got Machado, you got Tatis. 3 bats that you want to play. They're 5,800, 5,300, 6K. And then you got Ha-Sung Kim up there at 5K. You got Xander Bogaerts at 4,800. You got some cheap guys down there at the bottom that can make it work. But I think this is the direct pivot that everyone looks at because it is Wainwright. I mean, I would stack Hoop's Little League team, his son's Little League team against Wainwright right now. So I do think these Padres are great plays. I like Texas a little bit more. I like Baltimore a little bit more when you consider ownership. But ownership really doesn't matter too much, I don't think. So if you do like the Padres, go ahead and push the chips in because, I mean, it is a very, very bad pitcher in Wainwright. 1 through 9 are in play. Don't forget about my guy Trent Grisham down there in the 9 spot. I think he's an excellent play. Matt Carpenter has made his return to the lineup here, 2,400. The dude earlier this year title was peak Barry Bonds. I mean, this guy was hitting 2 home runs. It felt like a game at a free price per day. He's 2,400. Garrett Cooper, like you said, he's cheap in there too. So Padres, great stack, but they are going to be probably the second highest owned team. And I do think that creeps up even a little bit more the more people say, oh, maybe if I jump off the Braves, I'll go to the Padres and get a little discount there. So I want to see the Padres and the Braves to ownership to creep closer together the more we lead to lock. And then Cardinals for me, no thanks. Blake Snell's my top pitcher on the board.
Good breakdown. And you get Hoop out of the bushes, mentioning his son's team, the Novi Heat. He said 5-man stack them up tonight. So there you go. If you want to see who actually hoops on to win some money, DraftKings or head over to SHIPITNation.com. He does the DraftKings slate plan for us every single day in the MLB street. So check that out. Still got a couple games left, a good amount of games left. Actually, 12-game big boy slate should be a fun one. Milwaukee Brewers, Chicago Cubs, Wade Miley, Jameson Taillon. Wind's not a factor in Wrigley, about 70 degrees, 9 total. Miley grades out well in our pitcher rankings over here. Not enough for me to click the button, but I think enough for me to keep me off of some of these Cubs. And I prefer the Cubs against a righty, get the Bellingers of the world from the left side, Talkman. But, yeah, I mean, the Cubs will be low owned. No thanks to me, though. As far as the Brewers against Taillon, I respect Taillon enough as a real-life pitcher. Plenty of better offenses than the Brewers, better lineups out there. So, this game gets the X for me. What do you see?
Yeah, I'm in lockstep. Really no interest. I saw some people talking about the Brewers. Man, it's just a brutal offense. Yeah, they don't strike out a ton, but they just have not hit for power. I just can't do it. I'm not in love with it, and it's not the greatest hitting weather. 12-game slate. It's a cross-off spot here for me.
Gator Nation, Brewers bats are on a heater. You'll always play Brewers bats. You're one of the bigger homers out there, Gator Nation, which is why we love you, especially as a Wisconsin fan. You want to play the Brewers, though, they'll definitely be low. Oh, no thanks for me. We got 5 games left, Nades. Next game on the slate, Pittsburgh Pirates, Kansas City Royals, Johan Oviedo, Zach Greinke, 80 degrees, 9 total. It's an interesting game because pretty decent hitting weather. I think Oviedo's definitely interesting at pitcher. You think he gets squeezed in this range. He's been boomer bust, though. I mean, he gets you 25, he gets you 30, and he gets you 1. Going to the other side, though, hold on. I'm trying to call him. I can't answer that. Hold on. Royals, Zach Greinke on the mound. You know the story of Zach Greinke. The dude can't strike out anybody. Pittsburgh's going to put the ball in play. They're cheap. I definitely prefer the Pittsburgh side than the Royals, but what do you see? I'm going to answer this quick.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of you here, Title. I actually prefer the Royals bats a little bit because I am seeing Pittsburgh get a decent amount of ownership because they're cheap. They're third highest on stack. Everyone knows who Greinke is, right? Guaranteed ninth inning at bats, and they're cheap. And guess who's expensive? The Braves are expensive. The next game we're going to talk about. So give me the Royals side in this one. I get it, right? Oviedo's boomer bust, but over the last 30 days, he hasn't been great, especially against lefties. 18% strikeout rate against lefties, ISO for 255 opposing hitters. And a low ground ball rate. And MJ Melendez, I love him. Michael Massey in there. Drew Waters, I like him. So I do like these Royals. I typically play these Royals more at home. I always make the joke, right? The nice thing about playing the Royals at home, usually you still get ninth inning at bats because they're usually losing the ball game. But now they do play the Pirates here. So give me these lefties for sure. But Nelson Vasquez, in his 29 plate appearances at home against right-handed pitching this year, has a 407 expected ISO. So I think he's fine. Bobby Witt, always can play him. He's going to be unowned at shortstop. He's always got stolen base, home run upside. So I actually like these Royals a little bit here. Definitely prefer the Royals side in this one than the Pirates. I get it. It's Zach Greinke, but every time I feel like I stack against Zach Greinke, he owns me. So I'm not going to play a bad offense here tonight. That's going to get ownership against Greinke. Give me the Royals side in this one if I'm going anywhere.
Fair enough. Yeah, give me the Pirates. Disagree a little bit, Nate. One of us hopefully has a good day. Brian Reynolds, my favorite bat. Sawinski on the Pirates. Keep it rolling. Coors Field, Atlanta Braves, Colorado Rockies, Bryce Elder, Austin Gomber, 12 total. The Braves about 7.5, 70 degrees. Not the best hitting weather in Colorado by any means, but Gomber's no good. This Braves lineup, the best in baseball. Going to the other side, though, I think these Rockies are pretty interesting, too. I said I like the Braves, though. I don't care. I get the ownership-wise. I still think on this 12-game slate with like Gausman up top, Snell at top, enough other teams that it's not going to be as high as it should. Enough cheap pitchers on the slate. Maybe this is where you go, a Bobby Miller Gray team or something like that with the Braves. But yeah, sign me up 1 through 9. I think they put up a big one. As far as the Rockies, I think they're interesting. There's a lot of cheap bats. Hunter Goodman, free at catcher. Probably get some ownership there. Diaz will be a lot lower owned in that lineup, though. Ryan McMahon against a righty, Blackman. I think some of these Rockies for cheap are fine, but yeah, it's Coors Field. What do you see?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little bit lower on Coors Field here today, but it's hard to ignore these Braves. They're bright blue on our starting lineups page over here in the ISO column and the strikeout column. So they don't strike out and they hit for a ton of power against the pitcher that doesn't strike anyone out and in Coors Field. So I think they're fine. Obviously, it's 1 through 9 firmly in play. I love Orlando Arcia here today. He might go a little overlooked. He is 4,600 hitting in the 7 spot at the shortstop position. Sean Murphy smashes lefties. Matt Olson, it probably goes a little bit overlooked just because he's lefty-lefty matchup. He's 6,900, almost 7K lefty-lefty. So he might be a little under owned there. Obviously, Ronald Acuna, 7K is a hefty price point to pay, but we know what he can do. Always double dong upside. So Braves, same story, different day right now, especially that they're in Coors Field. But I'm actually a little under on them, I think, here today. I'm going to be a little under on them. Just take my chances. First game at Coors, everyone's going to play them. And they haven't exactly been crushing at the plate as of late, right? They've been scuffling a little bit. I know the jokes in the chat say, Nades, that's all he does is talk about the Braves every show. Well, that's because they're the best offense in baseball, and they're typically good. So here you go. I'm not talking about the Braves today. I'm not playing the Braves. And then the Rockies side, I think they're fine. Bryce Elder, low strikeout guy. His strikeouts have dropped off a cliff. But it's still the Rockies offense. Sure, you can play Blackman, McMahon, Nolan Jones, I think are fine. O'Doyle rules, as our guy Boomer likes to say. I think he's fine. 2,900 down there with some power in the 9 holes. So I think they're fine, but I'm overall a little bit under on Coors Field here tonight, which is I think a contrarian take.
Everyone keeps talking. Nades, all you do is stroke the Braves. You're jumping off, and they're about to put up 16, Nades. 2 touchdowns, maybe. Come on now. Coors Field, baby.
That's all right. You guys can, if the members in title win all the money, hey, that's fine too, right?
That is definitely fine. We take that over here at SHIPIT Nation. Give me, the lefties, though. Nolan Jones, my favorite on the Rocky side, 1 through 9. And I agree with you. Like, Matt Olson, like, 6.9K. How many people are going to play 6.9K Matt Olson? Some people, but he probably still comes in under 10%. Ways to get a little different. People say Sean Murphy, overspend at catcher, little things like that. You can find ways to get different enough in this Brave stack. Sign me up. No doubt about that one. We got 3 games left on the slate, though. Again, appreciate that like button. Appreciate that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Oakland Athletics, Seattle Mariners, Kyle Mueller, and Brian Wu on the mound. Mariners, one of the higher team totals on the slate, though. Mueller to start. Won't be in probably very long. Couple innings. Then you get this bad A's bullpen. Mariners been swinging a hot stick, especially Teoscar Hernandez right in there. Still some other teams I like more than the Mariners. I think they're fine, though. Cheap pieces at the bottom of the order will probably be there. Definitely no A's for me, though. What do you see?
Yeah, no A's for me. I just don't want to go there. And then Mariners, I do like the Mariners here today. I think they go a little overlooked. They've been swinging good at the plate. Especially if Dylan Moore is in there. If Dylan Moore is in that lineup, I have him on my content up here at SHIPIT Nation right now. Had my core up early for the people over here. Obviously, I'll make changes based on lineups and things like that. But Dylan Moore, you can play him at shortstop. He's 3,300 with some power. Hits left-handed pitching pretty well. Probably going to get at least one at bat against Mr. Mueller here. And it's just more of a bet on a bad starting pitcher here in Mueller, and then a terrible bullpen behind him in a team that's really not going to get a ton of ownership. Obviously, it's not the greatest hitters park, but Seattle, they can get the job done. They play in the park half their games all season long, and they can score runs. So I do like Seattle a little bit. Teo Hernandez, obviously on fire right now. He's 4,300, 329 expected ISO against lefties on the season at home. So I think he's fine, obviously. But yeah, I do like these Mariners a little bit, especially Dylan Moore as a value guy here.
Yeah, don't have that lineup out yet. The longer it goes, the lower owned it'll be. I think Mariners get a little ownership. But again, I think 12-game slate, there's a lot of teams with the team total above 5. I think it gets spread out for the majority of it. But we'll keep it rolling. 2 games left. Cincinnati Reds, San Francisco Giants, Andrew Abbott, Kyle Harrison, 65 degrees in San Fran. Wind's blowing out at like 15 miles an hour. But again, that park limits the wind impact. I'd like Kyle Harrison a little bit, mainly for the price. And these Reds do strike out a bit. No thank you to the Reds. As far as the Giants, like 67, 65 degrees, pitch hit risk, probably no. I like a lot of other teams on the slate more. Would rather the Mariners right there. And I didn't even have much interest in the Mariners. So no thank you to me in this one. Too chilly in San Fran. What about you?
Yeah, first, we need to get these likes up. I'll tell you that right now. We got 200-plus people watching here, only 76 likes, and we got 2 games that aren't going to take very long because I personally don't have any interest in these offenses. So go ahead and hit that like button. Again, we bring you these shows every single day of the week, and NFL's coming, and all of our NFL shows are going to be free for you guys too here. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're making a push towards 3,000 subscribers. More giveaways will happen once we do that. And it's big times over here at SHIPIT Nation. So that helps us out a ton. And if you get the likes home, let's say 120 likes, top 2 pitchers, top 2 hitters we'll give away over here on our ranking system. And I think they're interesting, especially the pitchers section. So go ahead and do that. But breaking down this game, no interest for bats in this one. I do like Harrison at the price. Obviously, I don't think he's a bulletproof pitcher by any means, but these Reds, man, 27% strikeout rate on the season against lefties on the road. They haven't been good as of late either, so really no interest in going there at all. And then the Giants, when you consider pinch hit risk and all that stuff against a pitcher who I think is a quality arm in Abbott, just complete cross off.
I like it, and I agree. Not much. I don't know how long this last game will take, so get those likes up for Nades, for us. We appreciate it. Get you those top pitchers in our rankings. And again, if you're not a member at ShipItNation.com, no better time to join. Blast off bundle 321, $321. Comes out to $53 a month the next 6 months. Projections, ownership projections, proprietary tools, core plays, cash reports, Discord, everything you need to be successful, including a 4-hour audio from Tambo and Hoop, talking everything you need to know going into the NFL season, whether you want to focus on live finals, focus on milli makers, cash games, whatever you may do, whatever your specialty is, whatever you want to get better at. Tambo hoop experts in those areas. 4 hours talking football, getting you ready for the season. Can't come soon enough. Showdown as well. Cannot wait for the season, man. Going to be such a good one over here at SHIPIT Nation. We got one game left on the slate, though. Arizona Diamondbacks, Los Angeles Dodgers, Zach Gallen, Bobby Miller, 8.5 total. It is hot in LA, 85 degrees, but Zach Gallen I respect enough as a pitcher. I respect the Dodgers enough not to play Gallen, but I'm not going to try and pick on him. And I respect Bobby Miller as well, so easy X for me. No thank you. What about you?
Yeah, no interest in this one. Zach Gallen, favorable or a good enough pitcher for me to keep me off the Dodgers here. But you can always play a low-owned late-night hammer Dodgers anytime. Obviously, one of the best offenses in baseball, but not for me on this slate. And then Bobby Miller, I do like quite a bit here against these D-backs. So bats in this one are a cross-off.
There we go, Nades. That was all 12 games on this slate. Going to get you a low-ish owned pitcher, darling of the day. If we get those likes, get you those top 3 pitchers in our rankings too. It was tough for me because the more I looked at the slate, the more I went through it. I'm going to say Johan Oviedo at 7.3K is my low-ish owned pitcher. And that's mainly because I think everyone goes Grayson Rodriguez, so he's going to be a fifth of the ownership. And I do love the Braves a lot. I think I want those guys. I want some of those Rangers that are going to be contrarian. I do like the Rockies as cheap mini stuff like that, but fitting some of these Braves in, like Chris Sale, he's so expensive. Definitely boomer bust. Give me a boomer bust guy that's 7.3K that can open up some of those bats. So I'm saying Johan Oviedo is my lowest owned pitcher. What do you got?
Yeah, I think Blake Snell gets overlooked up at the top, and I think he could dust the slate here with his upside. So 10-8, it's a little expensive to pay. Obviously, I said I'm a little bit under on the Braves and Coors Field here. So I do like Blake Snell going all the way up to the top. Ranks well in our stuff over here. So give me Blake Snell.
I like it. Let's go dong of the daytime, Nades. You can go first. What do you got for the people?
Hold on. You go first. I wasn't prepared with the dong.
All right. You can't yell at me if I get it. I'm going to the Coors Field. I'm going to go to the other side of the chalk, though. I'm going to the Rockies. Give me a little Nolan Jones goes deep today off of Elder. What about you?
All right. Well, I will. I'll stay true to my content over here on ShipItNation.com. I'm going to go to my favorite stack of the day. It's going to be the Baltimore Orioles. I'm going Cedric Mullins to hit a bomb here today. I like Cedric Mullins, 5K in the 6th spot. Think he goes overlooked. I like those O's is my favorite stack of the board.
Pair of lefties, Nolan Jones, Cedric Mullins. Love to see that. Great stuff as always, Nate. 12 games, no weather concerns as of now. Get in the Discord, though. Everything will be updated in there on the site. Again, Blast Off Bundle 321 comes out to $53 a month. Takes you through the next 6 months through Super Bowl Sunday. NFL right around the corner. Get in SHIPIT Nation. Get in the Discord. Got tennis, people talking talking college football. So much sports. Members, coordinators talking in there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out. And as always, shout out to our partner at drafters.com. Use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100% up to $100. See you guys in the Discord. Great stuff as always. For Nadesify, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.